The next principle that we will cover is economy of force. Economy of force. What is economy of force? It means to allocate the minimal essential operational power to secondary efforts. To allocate the minimal essential operational power to secondary efforts. Now, keep in mind here that there are a number of different ways of thinking of economy of force. But whatever your effort is, whatever the decisive point is, it's referring to the choice that you're making regarding your allocation of resources. So you can see how the application of economy of force depends on you understanding your objective. It depends on you taking the offensive. It depends on properly thinking through the principle of concentration, or the principle of mass, in other words. And then thinking through the application of your force in that area and not in others. You want to economize the amount of force that you have, right? We're all working with limited resources, especially in an operational context where sometimes there's competition for resources. So, also keep in mind that this principle of economy of force is not absolute, right? There are times where you are in competition with other organizations and they are making choices to apply their efforts in a certain way. And economy of force then would make you think through what efforts that you are doing which are secondary, because in fact you're in competition with them. So to put this in another context, let's suppose, and you probably have heard this before, let's just say you're out fishing and you take the boat in and you're with a friend of yours, and he or she, your friend, you've been fishing, you suddenly see a bear and you both start running. You're running. And your friend says, you know, if you want to live, you've got to outrun that bear. And you say to them, no, I just have to outrun you. Now, I know that's a terrible illustration, but you get the point, that it's comparative, right? It's not absolute. Economy of force is not absolute. So in that particular situation, you direct all your efforts to running. I do hope that you would, protect your friend and all that. It's just an illustration. I'm not trying to encourage any bad behavior on your part. So, another example of this, it isn't just the bear illustration, but if we go back to World War II, there was a time when the Allied forces were actually trapped on a beach I believe it was in northern France, but it was the beach at Dunkirk. It was either France or perhaps over in the Netherlands, but it was right in that particular area. And the British knew that the army was there, and so under the cover of fog, they found every last boat that they could find in England. And they went across the channel and ferried out all of these troops, French troops and English troops. And I believe there were also some American forces, but they moved them as quickly as possible. Now, why did they do that? Why did they make that choice with their boats and direct their resources that way? Well, they understood that the army was decisive. If they lost those troops, the war quite possibly would be lost, because it would have been a significant blow to their forces. And so they made the choice to make this happen, to swoop in quickly, to economize their force and make sure that they rescued these people. So that's an example from war. Let me give you another illustration. Apple Computers wanted to build a plant. And now they could build the plant in America, but there are many regulations, there are incredible bureaucratic hurdles. So they went and talked to people in China. And the Chinese were ecstatic to give them every possible help they could. And Apple went in and put in a plant to build these aluminum MacBooks in China. And what does China get for this? Well, they end up getting a plant, paying their own people. they end up acquiring know-how from one of the world's best builders of computers. Really, they arguably Apple makes the best, the highest quality mass-produced computers on the market today. Well, all of that know-how is transferred from Apple to Chinese citizens. And they end up making a lot of money, right? But the Chinese focused their efforts. They even came along with capital to help. And why is it that they did this? Well, the reason why is because they already understand their objective. And so they were able to seize the initiative to make sure that this plant was built in their country, right? Now, why is it that they are able to move more quickly on this than we are here in America? Well, because they understand their goal and they understand what's at stake, and they're willing to work very hard to accomplish it. This clear thinking, following the previous three principles that I've given you, is what allows for the wisdom of the economy of force to be implemented in real time. And I encourage you to think through this principle now and apply it to the particular complex problem that you're trying to solve.